November 28th. I'm Rim.
And I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight we review Wii Sports.
Let's do this.
So for the last several days, when I come home from work every day, I walk past Scott, who's in the living room with the Wii, moving it around in funny ways. I've been up to my room, going through the infinite number of pieces of paper with various glyphs on them that I've accumulated over the last quarter of a century, trying desperately to throw away the ones that I don't need and somehow put them into a fashion of order that will be useful for the next quarter century.
I don't know what you're saying about this, me sitting there playing the Wii several days, all right? Meanwhile, it's been 2 days, yesterday and today. Yesterday...
also last week.
What do you mean last week?
Before vacation, even then, I would come home from work and you'd be there with the Wii.
What day was that?
Why, the day last week.
I only went to work 1 day last week.
Yeah, I went to work more than 1 day last week.
Either way. And today I barely played it even.
What are you talking about? You were downstairs playing the Wii while I was up here doing my file stuff.
Yeah, but I wasn't on when you got home, and I only did it. We can go look. It was probably less than an hour.
As I walked in the door, you came down, said something, gave me my Edgy CD, which is installing next to me right now.
Well, I burned the Edgy CD. We were up here a lot longer than you think.
Not that long, because then I went upstairs, and before I even opened my file folder to continue looking at my pieces of paper, I hear dee-dee-dee-dee-dee downstairs.
Whatever. We can go look. The Wii keeps a record of how long we've played.
Oh, I'm well aware. That's why I feel completely justified in making this argument, because you'll go down and look, you'll realize how long you actually played the Wii, and you'll be quiet.
Today, less than an hour. But anyway, I have played, in total, a great deal of Zelda, because, well, Zelda games take a great deal of playing.
Yeah, and also Wolfie Link.
Yeah, and I gotta say that... Wind Waker was a great Zelda. That was the most recent one. At least the most recent console and not handheld one. And it was good, but my major gripe with it was that it was too short. Not enough dungeons. This game, way too many dungeons.
See, Minish Cap pissed me off for a great number of reasons, far beyond the fact that
that wasn't a console one, so not really counting it.
Well, see, the thing is, for me, my DS, and by extension, the GBA, have been my primary gaming console up until the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unless you count Counter-Strike on the PC.
Yeah. No, but this Zelda, I mean, I don't know if it's fair to say too many dungeons, because if you ask me, there can't be too many dungeons. Nothing would be better than just infinity dungeons.
Yeah, I mean, probably one of the greatest moments in my life is when I was playing Zelda for the SNES, and there's those 3 dungeons and the 3 things you gotta get. And you get them all, and instead of the game ending, it's up. Well, you've got the 3 things. Now you've got to go to the 8 other dungeons and do all this other stuff.
Yeah, ever since the SNES Zelda, they've always followed this pattern of, do a few dungeons. You're confined to a small area where you use basic skills, and then as you get more and more abilities, you can go to a larger and larger area, and eventually you beat 3 dungeons. Then maybe there's a 4th dungeon or something. And as soon as you do that, the game opens up, and then there's like the 7 dungeons.
Yep, and even then you walk
past... Or
the
8 dungeons.
You're always walking past rocks that you could bomb if you just had a bomb that was a little bit bigger.
Yep.
Or if you had a hammer, you could knock that little tiny stick out of the way, even though, really, Link could just jump over it or kick it.
Yeah, well, Zelda 64 followed mostly the same pattern. So did Wind Waker. It just had fewer dungeons after the game opened up.
Yeah.
But
then there's Minish Cap, where there's 3 dungeons. And I fully expected the game to open up. And instead, the game was over.
Yeah.
I about cried.
But Twilight Princess, man, I just got the game to open up today. After more than it's got to be at least a day of playing. If not, it's definitely more than 15 hours, almost 20. And I just got the game to open up, and even if I didn't get the game to open up, there's so much shit I had to do still in the not opened up game. Oh my god.
See, now think of this. Think about the amount of real-life time you've spent versus what you have caused Link to do, riding his horse around, being a wolf, causing all sorts of mischief, changing the world. In that time, in the real world, I succeeded in throwing away approximately 3,000 pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Many of which are at my feet right now.
Think about this. I played so much, right? And so far, I've caught 1 fish. I just did fishing for the first time today. A major part of the game, the fishing, I fished 1 fish. So there's
Wait.
a lot to go in this game.
A major part of the game. There can't be plot involved in the fishing.
No, but the fishing is like a major side game.
Yeah, you know what? I always kind of hated those side games in Zelda games.
I'm a fan of the side games. I like to beat all of them. Not super completely, but some of them give you pieces of heart, and I like to get all the heart containers.
No, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
See, I guess my favorite Zelda games are, of course, I haven't played all the way through Ocarina of Time, and I've never played Majora's Mask or any
Well,
of
you don't want to play. I haven't even played all of Majora's Mask. I played it for
or any of the Game Boy ones except Minish Cap.
Yeah, the original Game Boy one you gotta play.
Well, just no Zelda game since Zelda 2 has given me that sense of awe and fear when finding a new place.
Let's see, Zelda 64 for sure.
Well, I didn't play that all the way through, but SNES Zelda, at no point was I afraid.
No, I actually was a little bit afraid playing Twilight Princess just once when I got caught outside in the dark, and I didn't want to go back inside because I wanted to go into the town during the day, and time doesn't pass if you're inside the town. So I was hanging outside at night. It was dark. I had low health. There were monsters, and I wanted the sun to come up so I go back into the town during the day.
What a terrible night to have a curse.
Yeah. All right. Let's move along.
So we could do the Anime World Order thing. Let's news. Boom.
No, let's not do that.
We don't have any news music.
Go get some.
I just never found anything good that didn't sound cheesy or would violate copyright in an obvious way.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to talk about this problem, in quotes, of people breaking their TVs and breaking their Wiimote wrist straps or not using their Wiimote wrist straps.
I often don't use the Wiimote wrist strap.
And sometimes I don't use it, but most of the time I do use it.
Yeah, I only use it because it's not my Wiimote. Once I own a Wiimote, there's not even going to be a wrist strap on that mofo.
Yeah, but what if you...
You know what? I am confident in the minimal level of dexterity and consciousness that I have to not drop a Wiimote or throw it against the wall or lose my grip on it somehow.
Yeah, see, I'm more worried about not so much worried about the Wiimote breaking, but as in other things breaking around if the Wiimote gets thrown at them.
I'm not going to throw a Wiimote. In fact, the only time a controller has ever in my life left my hands was through my own volition when I was playing a game that I will not name for the NES a long time ago, and I threw the controller at the TV. It bounced off the TV and hit me in the foot.
Yeah, but this thing is one-handed. It doesn't have like handles in it. You don't have two hands on it. It could happen, and it is happening to a lot of idiots out there.
Yeah,
people aren't using the wrist strap, and they're throwing the Wiimotes into their TVs. People are breaking the wrist strap. Obviously, if your wrist strap breaks, it's because you did not apply it properly. You didn't slide that little piece of plastic down, and you're putting strain on the little string instead of putting strain on the wrist strap.
Now, I could see it breaking also from people using something I like to call probably the most... This is, in fact, the underlying theme of Tank Police, one of my favorite things. Mm-hmm. It's called excessive force.
Yes.
There
was a video of a guy. There was a video of a guy, because it started out with just pictures. And people were like, oh, you're faking it. Yeah. Then there was a video of a guy doing Wii bowling, and he threw the Wiimote against the wall when he was Wii bowling. If you watch again, you see just how hard this guy is swinging his arm. You don't need to swing your arm that hard.
Yeah, in fact, when I was playing Wii Golf, for a lot of the things, I didn't bring my arms all the way up and swing like I was playing golf. I held it straight down and did this kind of wristy motion.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really... it's really not necessary to swing it so hard that it could possibly break. If you're swinging it that hard... You're swinging it harder than is possibly necessary. You can get the maximum power in the game without swinging it with that much force.
And we're not saying you don't, get into it. It's really fun when you're boxing or especially when you're playing tennis to kind of get into it and act like it's a real sport you're playing. And that's really cool. In fact, you probably should do that to get the most enjoyment out of it. But you don't need to swing your arm as hard as possible. You don't need to hyperextend your elbow.
Yeah, not necessary.
In fact,
dangerous.
Swinging something that hard when there's nothing in your hand to really be swinging that has weight is a great way to really hurt yourself.
Yeah. And actually, someone went and looked. You know all that annoying health and safety stuff that Nintendo's been putting on their products for a while now? Yeah. Well, someone actually went and read that stuff to see what it says about this issue. And it says, hold the Wiimote firmly and do not let go. Even while wearing the wrist strap, make sure you don't let go of the Wii Remote during gameplay and do not use excessive motion. For example, in Wii Sports bowling, the proper way to let go of the ball while bowling is to release the B button on the Wii Remote. Do not let go of the Wii Remote itself. If you are having so much fun that you start perspiring, take a moment to dry your hands. If you use excessive motion and let go of the Wii Remote, the wrist strap may break, and you could lose control of the Wii Remote. This could injure people nearby or cause damage to other objects.
Truer words have never been written into clay or stone.
So a lot of people, because this is happening a lot of people are saying, oh, there's something wrong with the Wii Remotes. The wrist straps are cheap, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No, there's just a lot of idiots out there. And if you break your Wii Remote because you used it improperly or your TV breaks, I have no pity for you.
It's like that guy on Dig a while ago who broke his fat DS.
Yeah.
I can't imagine breaking my fat DS, and I have dropped it onto hard concrete more than once.
Yeah. If your stuff breaks and other people have the same stuff, doesn't have the same problem, it's your fault, and I don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah. Like certain people who have slowly but surely bent our banana chairs backward about 20 degrees from what they were when we bought them.
Yeah, we got to go find some higher quality banana chairs.
No, well, the thing is, we probably should have warned everyone that the banana chairs say very specifically you can't weigh more than 175 pounds.
Yeah.
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 We bought them for us because we're lanky dudes. They're made for kids, guys.
Yeah, okay. What other news is out there?
Well, I don't even know who's doing it. I don't really care because I'm not going to talk about the actual site because I couldn't care less about the site. But some people put together HelpMii, M-I-I, me, we. There's a lot of people using the, anytime you have an E sound, put two I's in and make it a Wii thing or try to make it a Wii thing. And now that there's going to be a web browser in the Wii, as soon as they actually get that working and you can do it without hacks, I think we're going to see a trend of a lot of websites either having a website specifically designed for use on the Wii, most often probably to provide something another website provides, only in a Wii optimized fashion, or else content specifically for the Wii from companies. Maybe they'll have you pay for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I really hope they open it up to let a lot more people make Wii channels because as it is, there's not enough of those.
Yeah, well, I imagine we're going to see a lot of Wii channels in days to come, well, weeks to come and months to come. But the web browser itself is going to be a lot. Because HelpMii is actually kind of this cool concept where they want to make this wiki kind of like GameFAQs, but more of a optimized. So from the Wii, if you need help playing a game, you pause the game, go into this website, and you can just kind of navigate through this wiki.
That sounds, that's something really good because it's always annoying, you're having a problem in a video game. You need some help. You don't want to pay money to call the helpline. You don't want to call your friend and have him spoil the game or laugh at you. You don't want anyone to know you're looking at. You don't want to pay for the rip-off strategy guides.
Well, obviously, you use some sort of anonymizer and secretly go to GameFAQs.
Exactly. But you got to go upstairs or get a computer, drag it over, pause your game, go to GameFAQs, search. It's annoying. Be a lot cooler if you're playing the Wii. You switch over to the web browser, check GameFAQs without getting up, and go back. Make gamers a lot lazier and a lot fatter.
Yep. Granted, my policy with GameFAQs is very simple. I rarely use GameFAQs during a game, but I often use it after I beat a game to find all the bullshit that wasn't worth finding.
Well, I use
Crystal Chronicles and all the bullshit.
Yeah, I use GameFAQs in 3 different ways. The first way I use it is if an instruction manual is not complete, or if there's like some technique I'm supposed to know for a video game, usually a fighting game to learn special moves, or like this, I don't know how to play the game and I need the rules of the game. It's also good for Atari games because the manual doesn't exist anymore.
Yep.
And you want to know like what button does what, or if it's possible to do something, or if you do something in a game and you're not sure how you did it, you can look that up. The second way I use GameFAQs is if I am stuck somewhere and it is arbitrarily stupid stuck, like No amount of thinking will get me out of it. It's a knowledge problem. Like, I do not know what I need to do next. The game is a bad game. It only happens in bad games, and most of the time I'll just stop playing the game if it happens, but sometimes I might want to give it a little go, especially if it's early. So I'll go on GameFAQs and say, all right, how do I get past this really dumb part of the game that's impossible? And the third time I'll use GameFAQs is if I already beat a game and I want to know where some secret is, or like, I don't know, maybe it'll be a part of the game where it says, like, collect the 10 gemmies, and I found 9 of the gemmies, and one of them is still missing, and it's a hide-and-seek thing, and I don't really feel like looking around everywhere.
Yeah.
Or I've already looked everywhere, and I haven't found the last gem, so I'll just go to GameFAQs.
But in terms of actually going to GameFAQs, I'll play, and I'll only go to GameFAQs if I get frustrated enough to stop playing the game. Because at that point, I'm going up to my room anyway to be pissed off about the game for a while, in which case, I'm very likely to be on my computer complaining to someone about the game, in which case, there's a Firefox tab going to GameFAQs.
Yep. But I do not condone the use of strategy guides and facts and things to actually play games without having to, play the game.
Yeah, well...
It's like, hey, I invented this robot. What does it do? Oh, it plays Quake 2 and beats the whole game perfectly. Look... Well, that's great.
See, granted, sometimes strategy guides are cool. Like back in the day when Nintendo released those crazy strategy guides for like Final Fantasy 1 and Mario 3.
The cardboard one was the best.
Because those were really actually cool. It had a lot of neat stuff in them that had nothing to do with the game at all.
Yep, that was good stuff. But...
And the Final Fantasy 1 one, to this day, I know where almost every major treasure is in that game, like down to the chest, or at least the room. And I could pretty much play Final Fantasy 1 half with my eyes closed.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a really useful skill.
I think there's really no point in a strategy. Like, they try to sell you the strategy guide with the game, and that just really, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's a bad thing. Of course, now games are designed, a lot of them, where you kind of need the strategy guide to get
It's like looking at the answers to a crossword puzzle and then just filling it in.
But what about the games where they want you to buy the strategy guide, and there's a lot of arbitrary stuff that you're really never going to figure out without a strategy guide?
I think there's a lot of companies that they do that on purpose, and like in a partnership with the strategy guide companies. They put secrets in the game that you can't possibly know about without the strategy guide, just to sell you a strategy guide and make more money.
Nah. Like, to get the special character, you have to go into this room and play this arbitrary sequence on the piano that you could have found out if you paid attention to what the 9 cats in the world that you can't get to anymore because it was destroyed said, and then remember the correct order based on their color because they were all the colors of the rainbow. But you might not have found all the cats, and now it's too late.
Yep.
That was an oddly specific example I came up with in retrospect.
Yeah, see, usually, though, it's something arbitrary like, if you go into this room and play this exact sequence on the piano, that you have no way of possibly knowing without the strategy guide.
I was thinking of Final Fantasy VII. What were you thinking of?
Arbitrariness?
Oh, okay. There's a thing in Final Fantasy VII with the piano.
Oh.
Of course, then there's the thing in Castlevania DS with the piano. I'm gonna
that doesn't do anything?
I'm going to save you all a lot of trouble. That piano room in Castlevania DS, just get the fuck out of there. Don't worry about it. Doesn't do anything. There is nothing to be found in that room at all.
Bad guys.
Nothing.
There's occasional bad guys.
There's like 2 succubuses flying in the air or something.
Just hit him with your whip and move on.
Yeah, you don't have a whip.
You might.
Unless you're playing Julius mode.
Yeah, hit him with your axe, spear, sword, whatever you're using.
Man, I got the death scythe. I'm all set in that game. I'm playing through hard mode, and I still just mow through the bosses without even blinking.
Yeah, I'm not sure what weapon I had. Maybe I had the death scythe.
It's the most powerful weapon in the game. You had to trade a boss's soul and upgrade the strongest axe to the super strongest axe.
Yeah, I think I might have done that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anyway. Things of the day.
Oh, man, I love this thing of the day so much.
Really?
Really.
Which one? Oh, I remember which one you're doing. You showed this to me about 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
Actually, more like a half hour ago because we just did the first half of the show, but I digress.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, then I'll start with mine because mine is 1, Wii related, and 2, not quite as good as yours, but very interesting. So, there are guys, and we know them, and they're a lot like the guy in my thing of the day. You see, this is Geeknights, and we're geeks, and a lot of our listeners are geeks, and some of our listeners are nerds. And I think this guy is probably the epitome of not Nintendo geek, not video game geek, but Nintendo/video game nerd.
Uh-oh.
This guy was waiting in line to get a Wii, and he hadn't slept in 5 days, and he admits that I think he was taking Demerol, and I really can't explain. You just need to watch this guy. Good.
I've seen guys like this at conventions, at comic book stores, at all sorts of nerdly events of sorts, and he is not out of the ordinary, but he is scary, and there are others like him. Beware. Lately, I've been really into these small-time RPGs. You know, these. I don't know how to explain them, but
well, you don't play them or anything.
I haven't played them yet. No, I played Kobolds Ate My Baby. I think that counts as one, but. You know, they're these little tiny RPGs that come in really small books. They have really focused, like, settings, you know. It'll be like, this is an RPG where you're a bunch of guys who do this specific kind of thing. You know, they're not the kind of RPGs that you can have vast multi-session campaigns with. They're, you know, one time at a convention fun fests. Anyway, most of these RPGs have something in common, and that is the character sheets are really well designed, and they kind of fit the game. And they usually have all sorts of neat stuff on them, and they're actually sort of exciting and fun to look at. So, one guy who knows this made up a little contest. And the contest is called Reverse Engineer. And the way the contest works is he gave people 2 weeks to make a character sheet for a game that doesn't exist and send it in. And a lot of people made character sheets and sent them in. And it's pretty cool because you can go to this website and look at a bunch of character sheets that were just made for games that don't exist. Some of them are kind of crazy. Some of them aren't so crazy. Some of them are obviously good. Some of them are not so good. The best one is one created by Martin O'Leary. So if you go to this website, just look on the left-hand side. There's a frame with a bunch of names in it. Find the name Martin O'Leary and click on it. And it'll bring you to what I say is the best character sheet of the lot.
Now, he can describe it, but you're really better off seeing this bad boy.
All I can say is the top of the character sheet says, in Soviet Russia, character sheet designs you.
Those stats at the bottom.
Right. Now, he again gave people 2 weeks to take one of the character sheets and make a game based on the character sheet.
You know, reverse engineering the character sheet.
Exactly. So, you know, not the same person who made the character sheet made the game, you know. So if I made a character sheet, someone else would make the game for it. So it's kind of weird. The guy who took this awesome character sheet made by Martin O'Leary, his name was Nathan D. Paoletta. And the game he made is called Vesna Thaw. And the subtitle is Post-Apocalyptic Community Building in a Post-Soviet World. Let me tell you, this is an awesome game, and it is Creative Commons license. I didn't actually read all the rules of the game, so it might not be a playable game, but from what I have read of the rules, it is entertaining to read the rules.
It is probably a lot like HAL, which is pretty much the epitome of games that you read the rule book and laugh about, but God help your soul if you decide to try and play.
I think this one might be playable one time.
I highly doubt that. Kobolds Ate My Baby is barely playable even once.
It's playable once.
Barely.
It's as long as you have new people every time, it's playable.
Kobolds Ate My Baby is able to keep my attention for approximately 6 minutes, and that includes character creation.
But you just don't want to.
Maybe it's just that you shouldn't be running Kobolds Ate My Baby.
Yeah. Anyway.
That was a bad experience.
Well, you know, you guys didn't exactly help me out.
We tried.
No, you didn't. You were trying to ruin the game from the start.
What do you do? If you mean trying to ruin the game is, you know, interacting with the world in a realistic kobold way and trying to do things like I see a chicken, I attack the chicken, then yeah, we were trying to ruin it.
No.
Whoa, the DM can't deal with it if I attack the chicken. What do we do now?
I was dealing with it just fine.
Yeah, by killing us.
Yeah.
I try to attack the chicken, you die. What?
That's what it says in the book.
I will say it wasn't the worst role-playing experience of my life. That falls squarely on the time I tried to DM a system that my friend Ken had written. And
oh, God.
The system wasn't done yet, and they were playing with it a lot, and I didn't understand the system and didn't read it very much, and he had also provided me with a basic plot and a bunch of characters, and I kind of just manhandled them all together, and it was without question the worst role-playing the world has ever seen. It was awesome.
I'm going to try to play Inspectors. at some point in the future, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. Well, either way, this is an awesome website. There's a lot of funny character sheets. It will entertain you for a long time if you are a fan of RPGs.
And if you've maxed out your Vodak score, well, yeah.
If you max out the Vodak, you are the win.
And if you don't know what Vodak is, welcome to the internet. Actually, no, because that's kind of an obscure and stupid thing. So don't worry if you don't know what Vodak is. In fact, if you don't know what Vodak is or why that's funny, you're probably a better person than I am.
I'm going to search for Vodak on Google and see.
Really? Right now, real time?
Mm-hmm.
Live Geeknights? I
Yep.
got to keep talking?
Okay. Nope. If you search on Google, you'll get it.
Really?
Yes.
I've never searched for that.
Because the top link is the Urban Dictionary, which will tell you what Vodak is, and it correctly tells you what Vodak is.
You know, it's sad and scary that I've been not only on the internet long enough, but reading FARC long enough to where I've seen the birth, rise, fall, and death of numerous FARC cliches in the course of my time here. The haha guy appeared while I was a Farker.
Okay, wait. There are 3 definitions for Vodak.
3.
Yep. The first one is, I'll let everyone in on what Vodak is. All right, I'll give it away. The first definition for Vodak, according to the Urban Dictionary, which is the only dictionary in which you will find Vodak. Vodka, as spelled after consuming in sufficient quantities. 2, further proof that even the most idiotic brain fart can become a meme. And 3, Leetness incarnate. Vodak plus God.
Wow.
Yep.
Anyway, today we decided, because we haven't been role-playing a lot lately, though you will have quite a number of role-playing and Dungeons & Dragons-centric Tuesdays to come, as starting this weekend, we are doing something we haven't done since college. We are getting the group back together and running a gigantic monthly D&D campaign, the likes of which we haven't seen since, well, college.
We'll see how this works.
Granted, it's not like college where we played every weekend.
Yeah, sort of out of habit.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're kind of getting a fresh start. We're trying a lot of new things. We're bringing back some things that we've kind of lost sight of over the years. And I think this is going to be a great time.
Yeah, it'd definitely be a change, which is what I'm looking for.
Well, you're all going to get the play-by-play of us getting back into role-playing after a couple-year hiatus. I mean, not counting our forum games and all that, but regular in-person D&D sessions with something that we haven't had in our D&D for pretty much since I was in high school. The table.
Oh, no, it's
a
table.
We're going to play around a table instead of lounging all around a room.
All right.
Yeah, but today, since this will probably be the last chance we'll get to talk about it for a while, we're going to talk about the Wii and review a Wii game.
Oh, my God. What Wii game are we going to review?
Well, we could review Excite Truck, but there's not much to say other than drive a truck really fast, and the controls are pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah?
I think I'll go play some after we do the show. What time
I
is
might
it?
have to join you.
It's 10:11. All right.
Yeah, it's 10:11. For those of you who listen to Geeknights Time Shifted, which is everyone in the world except when Alex or Emily is in the house listening to us while we're doing the show.
It's currently 10:11 p.m., so it's a geek night for sure.
Yes.
That's 22:11 for you 24-hour clock people.
Oh. Yeah, fancy.
Mm.
So we're going to review probably the most basic game for the Wii.
Wait, I think you don't need to say it because people guessed already.
Yeah, we're going to review the Mii system.
Oh. Yeah, Mii's are pretty fun. People can't get enough of making them.
Yeah, even Stephen Colbert is all about the Mii's.
Yeah, all right, no, we're going to talk about Wii Sports.
It's a good thing we're not talking about the Mii's because I got a fucking rant about one thing that really...
You can't get a unibrow?
No, I can't get a unibrow, but I can deal with that. You see, I made my Mii. Anyone who shared the friend code with us might see my Mii.
Oh, right.
My Mii looks, in fact, a lot like me. Like, you know, a lot of people, some people, their Mii looks kind of like them. Some people's a little off. Some people's really good. My Mii is the spitting image of me. It's other than the fact that I don't wear purple shirts and my stomach isn't round like that. But
no one's stomach is round. Well, some people.
One person. One man in all the world.
Yeah.
We won't say his name. I am. Yeah. So, now, for those of you who know me, I used to have a unibrow and a rather austere and somewhat large mustache.
A mustache.
Mustache. In fact, my dad waxed his a couple times. And I had
Whoa.
to say, I could have waxed mine.
Scary.
I could have easily grown my mustache to the point that I could have waxed it. It grows back in about a week.
That's frightening.
But I decided, partly due to something that our friend Yuko and our friend Emily drew on the fridge, to make classic Rim with the unibrow and the mustache. And the easiest way to do this, I thought, would be to, make a copy my me and just change those two parameters. You can't copy a me. Furthermore, if you think you're smart and you want to be clever and you think, oh, I'll copy my me to the Wiimote, I'll edit the one in the plaza, change its name and everything, and then bring the other one back? No. Nintendo is all about not letting you do that. It knows that it's the same me, and it overwrites the me you've got in the plaza.
Yeah, it was kind of annoying.
Mii's have some sort of hidden internal identifier that you can't change or get rid of.
Yep.
So be warned. Anyway, no, we're talking about Wii Sports.
All right, should we just go to the sports down the row?
I think we should. We'll start with tennis because that's the simplest Wii sport and probably the easiest one to review.
Yep. It's also one I suck at, apparently.
I'll give it a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I mean, the main problem with tennis is that, granted, none of the Wii sports are going to be as full as, say, a real, like, Mario Tennis.
Yeah,
it's a very simplified, dumbed-down version of tennis. The thing is, it is dumbed down more than any of the other games.
Well, the thing you got to remember about Wii Sports is that it is really a tech demo and something to make the Wii more, I guess, you feel better about buying it because it comes with this game.
Well, also, it's to help you learn to use the Wiimote and get comfortable with it.
And, of course, it uses the Miis. It's the only game that uses the Miis so far. So, otherwise, the Miis wouldn't have felt so useful.
No, they would have been kind of silly without Wii Sports. It actually makes Wii Sports a lot of fun to see all the Miis in there. Like, my dad gets up to bat in baseball. It's pretty hilarious.
Yep, or Harris is in the background talking to classic Brian.
Yeah. No, but tennis. Okay, the tennis game, basically the ball, it comes at you, you swing the Wiimote, you hit the ball. Continue.
Now, remember, you don't control the dudes. It's doubles, and there's 2 guys on each side. You don't control the dudes. You just control the swing. And the whole game is very simply timing your swing to hit the ball and hitting the ball in the right direction to make it harder for the other person to hit the ball.
And also getting the ball, keeping it in the court. You don't want to hit it out into the stands.
I think that falls under hitting it in the right direction.
Yeah.
Captain Out of the USS Out.
Yeah, I am Captain Out. I just tried to do the tennis training mode where, you practice your tennis skills.
Yep.
And the first mode is this girl hits a ball to your side, and all you have to do is hit it back. And I was able to hit 6 in a row, and that was my record. Most of the time, I couldn't hit the first one back.
See, I'll tell you right now what your problem is with getting it out. Because how you hit the ball is not as intense or important as, say, bowling. But in terms of actually, hit it to the left, hit it to the right, hit it up a little bit, hit it down, the Wiimote knows. And you were hitting it to the left when your guy was already to the left, and that's why it went out of bounds.
I keep hitting it way to the left. I can't seem to hit it straight. It's just like in bowling. I can't bowl straight.
I think you need to strengthen your wrists.
No, it's like I'm holding. It's not it's a matter of too strong wrist. I can't. I'm trying to do less wrist action, not more.
But you need a strong wrist to hold your wrist steady while doing something.
Well, I am. I'm holding it dead steady, but I don't know.
Well, apparently you're not.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'll have to do it slow. I think the other thing is I'm trying to do stuff too quick, and I could do it slower with the same effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, like all Wii or early Wii Sports type games, you can play it 2 ways. You can stand there and swing it like you're swinging a tennis racket, or you can just kind of twitch your hand and just kind of know what gestures make it go.
Yeah, you can do the toolbox.
Now, you can do the toolbox, and the game works just fine, but the best way to enjoy this game is to get 4 people, stand in your living room, and get really into it.
Yeah, it's really... The problem I have with Wii Tennis is 2 things. Number 1, they should have let you move your Wii guy around with the nunchuck thing instead of having him move automatically. I mean,
that might have made the game a little too complex.
I don't think it would have made it too complex.
For this early system, I'm sure there's going to be a tennis game that does that.
I'm sure there's going to be, almost certainly. Mario Tennis, most likely. Or Virtua Tennis, if they make that for the Wii. But, it would still been a dumbed-down tennis. It would have just been, worth playing more than a few times.
I don't know, because I find the tennis really fun.
Yeah. The other problem I have with the tennis, the bigger problem, is actually that you can't play singles. It's doubles only. So even if you play one-on-one, it gives you two of the same guy on your side.
Which is kind of cool still, because now you have this thing of, do I hit it with the front guy or the back guy? And that's a very important strategic decision.
It is, but at the same time, I'd like to play singles. You know, I don't want to have two guys there.
Yeah, I guess I'm not asking much of Wii Sports because it was free.
Yeah, I don't ask much of it either, but you know, I'm comparing. If you compare the sports to each other, tennis is not the best one.
No, however, it is the quickest one, the easiest one to get into, the easiest one to enjoy, and it requires the least effort or care.
Yep, that is for sure. You know, if you just want to pick up the Wii, swing it around for a few minutes, and put it back, tennis is what you're going for.
Yep, I really like the tennis.
All right, what comes after the tennis?
Why, that would be baseball.
Oh, the baseball. See, the thing with the baseball, right, is the hitting is actually a whole lot of fun. But the pitching, while fun, it doesn't use the Wiimote as much as it could.
No, in fact, the pitching, instead of what you might expect, where you swing the Wiimote to the left or right to put a curve on the ball or any of that, it's mostly you swing it, and that just initiates the pitch. And before you swing, you can hit on the direction pad up, down, left, or right to say which direction you want the ball to go. And you can kind of do it behind your back like you're holding a baseball, because when you hit it, it rumbles a little to say, yeah, I got your hit. I know. You've set your kind of pitch. And then while you pitch, you either don't hold any buttons, hold A, hold B, or hold A and B. And each of those combinations throws a different kind of pitch.
So there are 4 kinds of pitches you can throw, and you set where you're trying to throw it before you throw. And then when you swing the Wiimote, all you're really doing is saying how hard you want to pitch it. If you want to throw a slow ball or a fast ball.
And I haven't noticed much difference, no matter how hard or slow I move it.
Well, no, I've noticed a difference. I'm able to throw like slow, medium, and fast pitches pretty much. You know, it's either 60 miles an hour, 80, or 90 something.
Now, the batting is a lot more fun, even though it's not nearly as difficult as you might expect.
Yeah, the batting, pretty much all there is to the batting is you either don't swing because the pitch is a ball and you don't want to strike out.
Though, be warned, the strike zone is pretty big.
It is a pretty big strike zone. Or you swing at the right time in order to get a hit. If you swing at the wrong time, you're going to hit it foul or get a strike.
Yeah, kind of like the old baseball simulator games.
Yeah, so it's swing the bat with the right, well, you can actually swing the bat slowly to get, or faster to get more power on it.
Yeah, and you can also, I'm pretty sure that if you give it kind of a upward tilt, like if you're trying to hit a real home run at the end, it seems that I get more home runs when I do that.
Yeah.
But I can't say if the game knows or not.
I don't know that for sure, but if you swing the bat at the right time and you swing it quickly enough, that's how you get the big hits.
Now, the timing to hit is actually very difficult to get right, especially when the pitcher can change.
Yeah. I mean, if you just play the training mode where they throw you nice, easy pitches over and over again, you can learn to hit the ball. But as soon as you play against a real person, they keep throwing all sorts of different pitches, different speeds, and you have no idea what they're throwing. It gets very difficult, and the pitchers really have an advantage, and the games are very low scoring.
Yeah, the game we just played a little while ago, I got up by 1 crazily with a home run, and then a little while later, Scott got up by 1 with 2 runs. And other than that, it was mostly strikeouts.
Yeah, mostly strikeouts. A lot of ground outs. Because if you don't hit a foul ball, someone in the field, if it's not like a big hit, someone in the field's going to touch the ball, and then you're out. Because there's no fielding. And I don't think that's a problem. It's just pitching and hitting. You don't need fielding. That would be too difficult with the Wiimote in this kind of game.
Yeah, I'd give the game again a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I think I like it more than the tennis, but at the same time, it's not as good as some of the other Wii Sports games.
Yeah, but it's a tech demo. It kind of gives the positive. Yeah. The one nice thing is that when you're standing there ready to bat and you move the Wiimote, the bat moves pretty much perfectly on your guy.
Yeah, because when I play actual baseball, I like to do a little shake the bat around up near the back of my head, and I can do that with the Wiimote, and that makes me feel really comfortable because it's a lot more like real batting.
Plus, I got to say, and as silly as it sounds, having those Miis makes it so much more fun.
Yeah,
because Scott Johnson hit a home run, and our friend Yuko saved me by catching a ball and putting Scott out.
I got to
once.
say, the Miis have the best effect in baseball because even though only 2 people are playing, let's say I'm playing Rim. That means I'm the pitcher and he's the pitcher, and we're both at the top of our respective lineups. but all the other Miis that are on her system fill out the rest of the playing field.
Yep.
So it's fun to see your friends come up to bat.
So Emily or James or Lisa or Harris will come up.
Yeah, it's like my dad will be on second, and then my friend James hits a home run and brings him in. It's good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so moving right along, I guess we could hit up on golf, which I really like.
The golf actually is one of the better Wii games.
Because it's a lot more of an actual game.
I'm not good at it, but at the same time, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's basically a straight-up game where you can choose between, a driver, an iron, a wedge, and a putter.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows a little mini-map where you can see, and this is the real thing I think is really neat. You can point which direction you want to go, and it shows a mini-map. It shows the direction of the wind relative to where you're about to hit, and it shows a line extending from your character over this mini-map. And it'll have, like, white dot, white dot, white dot, yellow diamond. Now, when you swing, and you can do as many practice swings as you want that don't do anything, like you're standing next to the tee, not swinging at the ball. It has a power bar above you that goes white dot, white dot, white dot, diamond.
Mm-hmm.
And however hard you swing determines a little power bar that shows how hard you're going to hit it. And say you get the little blue power bar to go up 2 of the white dots, then the ball's going to land just at the second dot.
Oh, pretty close to it. It's not exact because there's a lot of other factors that come into it.
Well,
like
no, if there's no
hills and wind and speed.
Remember, I'm talking about the first land before it bounces.
Yeah.
And if there's no wind, which is great because there's almost always wind, and you get exactly 2 dots, it'll land with the first bounce at exactly 2 dots.
Yeah, about. I mean, there's some other factors that come into it. Like if you use the driver, the ball is sort of more likely to keep going. And if you use the iron, it probably just comes and plops down. It matters a little bit, but yeah.
Well, the first bounce will be exactly there unless there's wind.
Yeah, if you do it exactly right.
Yes, that's what I said.
It's never actually lands exactly there.
Well, that's because there's usually wind.
Yeah, but it's a very good way to that how hard to swing without actually having to gauge it.
Now, the cool thing is if you swing too hard, you can send the ball a lot further, but it'll hook or slice. And sometimes it won't either, and you can't really control that. But you can often use that to your advantage to hit the ball a lot further than you needed to, or hope for a slice and aim in the wrong direction and just hit it really hard. And if you time it right and you get it right and all the luck's with you, you might get the ball way farther than you could have by playing correctly.
Yeah. On some of the simpler holes, that actually is a really good tactic, is to just freaking, who cares about, screwing it over and going way off the meter. Freaking hit the ball as hard as you can. It'll get farther. You'll maybe save a stroke. But on the harder holes, if you don't hit it exactly right, it's going out of bounds, it's going in the water, it's going in the sand, and that's not going to be good. That's going to be real bad.
Yeah, Captain out of bounds.
Yeah. The one thing I do like about the golf is how if you land in the sand or in the rough, and then you try to use the driver, it actually brings down the maximum power on the meter so that you can't hit it very hard without getting the slice in the hook. So it actually prevents people from doing silly stuff that happens in a lot of other golf games, like using the driver to hit out of a sand trap all the way to the hole. It actually makes landing on the fairway and the green pretty essential to getting a good score.
It's overall a really good golf game. For what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you compare it to something like golf for the NES or golf for the Atari. It's actually a better game than that.
Yeah.
It's not as good as a game as, say, Microsoft Golf or something like that, but, what is?
For a Wii Sport game, I'd give it an 8. I really enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, the golf is definitely, I'd say it's equal to the boxing as the second best game in the Wii
boxing.
Sports. Yeah.
So I guess we should get to your favorite game, the game that you kick ass at, the bowling.
The bowling.
Even though I beat you.
Yeah, I don't know. I just sucked that game real hard.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. The bowling is perhaps the greatest game in Wii Sports in that it does not dumb down the game of bowling at all because bowling is already dumb enough that you don't need to dumb it down even to Wii Sports.
It's pretty much straight up bowling.
Yeah, you get it scores exactly like real bowling. It plays like real bowling. It's pretty much perfect in every way. You have a Mii. Your Mii goes up to the the lane. He's got a ball. You move left and right. You aim where you want to throw it. Then you hold the Wiimote up in the air like you're holding the bowling ball up in the air. You push B. As soon as you push B, the guy starts his bowling motion. You then start your bowling motion, And when you want to let go of the ball, you let go of B, and then, oh, there goes the ball.
Now, this is the only part that at least me and a lot of other people, but some people don't, found a little counterintuitive
Yeah,
in that...
it seems like some people do it just right, and some people, it really screws them up because you try to do your natural bowling motion, and if your natural bowling motion is way wacky, and a lot of people have wacky bowling motions as their natural way to bowl, you're going to have a problem with the Wii bowling.
Well, the thing is also that you can't control the backswing or anything. Once you hit B, press A, the guy just starts going. He just immediately starts bringing it back and stepping forward to bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't control how fast or slow he brings it back. So you pretty much have to match what he's doing.
A lot of people, when they bowl, will bring the ball back, hold it back, and then bring it forward.
No, I don't do that.
Well, some people do.
But
or the other thing is, like, my dad, he would push B, then he would wait a second, and then he would start his bowling motion. But by the time he started his bowling motion, the me on the screen had already finished the bowling motion, so he would end up letting go of the B way too late, and the ball wouldn't go right.
Yeah, my thing, just the way I bowled, and I kind of picked this up the one time I took a bowling class, and that was probably the best time I ever had in terms of bowling, because I actually got almost kind of okay. I got to the point where I averaged about 130, which for me is double what I normally do in bowling.
That's about my real world bowling average, something like that.
Yeah, but I don't really hold the ball up before I go. When I'm in my neutral stance, before I actually move forward to bowl, I hold it kind of in front of me, and I draw it back instead of having it up, down, and back.
Oh, see, I do it up, down, and
so
back.
that totally fucks me up in Wii Bowling.
Yeah, it's going to do that.
But other than that, it's actually really good. The amount of control you have over the spin is quite a bit more than you'd expect.
Yeah,
out of that
it actually
controller.
feels right. Like, if you try to spin the ball left or right, or if you don't swing your arm in a perfectly straight motion, or if you let go of B too early or too late, or swing harder or swing lighter, it all seems to. The ball seems to respond to all of those motions exactly or close to the way a real bowling ball would, or as close as it can possibly be for this sort of technology. They're obviously using the full gradient of analog inputs from the Wiimote.
So last and probably, well, certainly not least, is boxing.
Yeah, boxing, I don't know. It's great, but at the same time, it's not so great.
It's really, really fun, but it's not that precise or an indicative of skill.
Yeah, it's like the controls are a little bit clumsy. Like, I tried to do the training, and to do the training, it's like, okay, punch the guy in these exact locations. And I can't aim the gloves in exact locations. I don't know what the hell they're thinking, that that's even possible.
Actually, I can do that kind of okay. But the problem is when I play in the actual boxing, it doesn't seem to work against a human opponent.
Yeah, my strategy in boxing is pretty much I hold my gloves one in front of my head and one in front of my body to block pretty much anything people throw at me. And then as soon as I see openings, I go punch, 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 punch. And it seems to work pretty well. I win a lot. And it's fun, but not really. It's not really at punch-out levels of bowling. Boxing.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not much more we can say about boxing, really. I mean, you can punch to the head, you can punch to the body, you can do a hook.
You can dodge. Dodging is key.
Yep.
You can block. It's fast-paced. If people know what they're doing, it actually gets pretty exciting because your fight will go for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's also not really clear. I mean, I know for a fact that if you get knocked down and you don't do anything, you don't push any buttons, you won't get back up.
But we don't know what buttons to push to get up because it's a Wii. It's not like the Nintendo where you just hit A and B. So whenever you're knocked down, you end up flailing both arms and hitting every button on all the Wiimotes, just hoping something will happen.
This is the kind of thing we got to look on GameFAQs to see. I'm going to look it up right now, actually.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, it's fun, but one problem that I have is that, and I was surprised at this, but the cable between the Wiimote and the nunchuck is a little too long, and it keeps hitting me directly in the junk. When I'm standing there boxing, it must be the way I hold myself. Maybe it's from when a bunch of us took like a kung fu class at RIT, and you hold your fist kind of low. So I hold my fist kind of low, and that thing just keeps hitting me down there.
Yeah, well, if I play boxing while sitting down, in fact, if I play a lot of nunchuck games while sitting down, the stupid wire, like, I don't know what to do with it because it's, like, sitting in my lap and it's kind of in the way. I wish the nunchuck was wireless or something. Also, the nunchuck doesn't seem to, it seems to be a lot easier to hit with the Wiimote than it is to hit with the nunchuck.
See, actually, for me, it was the other way around. Every time I've won a boxing match or any time I do well, my technique is to only punch with the left hand because I'm so much more accurate with it.
Really?
Yeah.
The Wiimote, it seems like I have a lot more control over that glove, and the nunchuck, I can't always get it to throw a punch. Like, sometimes I'll try to punch, and it won't punch. It'll just kind of float around there.
See, I get that with the Wiimote, and the nunchuck's weird.
Maybe.
Because actually, remember when we were playing before and you were beating me, but then out of the blue, I kind of knocked you down and got all your health out in one go? I mean, you totally won the match, but I knocked you down that one time.
Yeah, well, I was slowly losing health over time as I got hit.
When that happened, most of the health I took away is I took the left nunchuck and I went face, 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 and nothing else.
Yeah.
That's my primary technique in boxing. But it only works if the other person, I don't know when it works.
See,
I haven't figured that game out.
I think part of what it is like with the Wiimote, you kind of flick it, like flick, flick, flick. And with the nunchuck, you kind of actually have to push it forward in space like a real punch.
True.
You know, and it's like two different motions. So you try to do the same motion with both devices and it doesn't work. You kind of have to punch the nunchuck actually physically forward like you're really punching. But with the Wiimote, you can just kind of flick your wrist like you're whipping. Or smacking with a paddle or something like that.
But yeah, Wii Sports is pretty fun. It's definitely a tech demo.
Yeah, if you get a Wii and all you get is Wii Sports, you probably won't be disappointed for a few weeks. And until the real party games come out, this is what you've got to go on, and it won't be so bad. You'll have a lot of fun at parties.
Well, if you really, really need a party game, you can get Monkey Ball, which is not the best game by any stretch, but it's got enough fun in it to hold you over in terms of party-style games.
I've heard that Rayman has some multiplayer also, but I haven't played it, and I don't plan on buying it.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of good things about Rayman. I'll probably buy it used.
Oh, maybe it's all you.
Yeah.
It's all you.
All right. This went on long, so I'm going to... No, I'm not going to bed. I'm going to play some Excite Truck.
You want to go play some Excite Truck?
Possibly.
All right.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geeknights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com. Or you can send audio feedback via Audio. Just click the link that says Send Me an Audio on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.